Hello and welcome back to this Tux Plus series on WooCommerce theme development. In this part of the series we're going to be working on the single product page, and this is how it looks by default. It's a nice image of the product, and then there's some information underneath and some related products. So here we've got some upsell content for products people might also like to buy, and some related products as well. Now what I want to do is change some of the styling here so it's more consistent with my design using my colours, and I also want to change the size of these images down here. And I'm going to do that not just using CSS, but I'm actually going to amend a function that's provided with WooCommerce so that smaller images are output, because there's no point in styling images to look smaller with CSS while you're still actually sending a large image to the browser. So let's have a look at the template file that's used to display single products. The template file that's used here is the single product.php file, which I've already got open here. And like all of the other template files in WooCommerce, it uses a whole bunch of hooks and include files to pull in some content. So it's not actually this file's content we need to be working with. It's this one here. So it's using getTemplatePart to pull in the single product content file. And that file, again, has got some hooks in it. And we're going to be using some of those hooks a little bit later on. But first let's look at the styling. What I want to change first are some of the colours in this page. So here you can see there's a green for the price by default, which isn't consistent with my design, and there's a purple add to cart button. Now my branding includes a coral colour, sort of pinky red, and I'm going to use that for my buttons. And I also want to change the colour of the price up here to use the tan colour that I'm using for my links, as you can see here. As well as that, I'm going to change the colour of the headings in my single product page, because they're a bit dull at the moment in grey. But I've used H2 in grey in my styling overall because that works with the rest of my design. But on this page, that H2 tag is going to be a different colour. So let's start by adding some styling. I do this in my theme style sheet, and I'm going to do this in the section that I've got here for colours. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the colour of that price. So first I'll add a comment so I know what I'm doing. And then I'll add the styling underneath. So first let's target the price element. And that uses classes that are already provided by WooCommerce. And what I'm doing here is I'm actually copying this from the style sheet that's in WooCommerce. And I'll show you how that applies. So you can see here is the price. And here you've got these elements here that have got that colour, the green. So I'm going to type the same declaration. And I'm going to change the colour. Now let's have a look how that looks in our site. That looks great. The price is now the colour that's consistent with my design. Now let's move on to this button. Let's have a look at the styling for it. And you can see that the styling here for all of our buttons. Now I might as well do all of them at the same time. I'm going to actually copy this straight into my style sheet rather than typing it all out from scratch. But I am going to add some returns so I can see what I'm doing. And here's the colour that I want to use. I'll save that and see how it looks on my site. So here's my button, which is a much more obvious coral colour. Now I could add some more styling here if I wanted to for hovers and so forth, but I'll leave you to do that for yourself. Now the next thing I'm going to move on to is the headings. These are a bit of a dull grey at the moment, so I want to make them this nice duck egg blue that I'm using elsewhere in the site. So let's go back to the style sheet. So I'll add something here that targets the specific H2 element within my product pages. I'll save that, and once again, I'll take a look at my site. Scrolling down, you can see that the colour has changed on all of these H2 elements, which looks much nicer. So now I'm going to move on to the images at the bottom of the screen, the related products, and that you may also like upsell. Now, I don't like the fact that these are as big as the main product image, so I want to make them smaller. I don't just want to make them smaller with CSS, I want to actually output a smaller image to make my site more efficient. So to do this, I need to use a function that's provided by WooCommerce. Now this function can be found within the contentproduct.php template file. Now what this template file does is it displays loops of products in all archive pages. So for example, this list of products here is a loop. It's querying those related products and it's outputting them here. So it's not just in archive pages, but it's also in the main product page. So working my way down the file, I can see that there are a number of hooks in here. And the hook that I'm working with here is this WooCommerce before shop loop item title. Bit of a mouthful, I know. But the function that is actually being used to output those images is this one here, WooCommerce template loop product thumbnail. So what I need to do is find that function within the WooCommerce files. So let's have a look. You'll find all of the WooCommerce functions in the include files. And I need to scroll down because there's a lot of them here. And it's functions that I'm after. And these are template functions. So the template functions file includes all of the functions that output content within the templates. And the specific function I'm looking for here is this one, WooCommerce template loop product thumbnail. Now the great thing is that this function is pluggable. WooCommerce is checking the function doesn't already exist in my theme. And only if it doesn't exist in my theme is it outputting the function that's provided by WooCommerce. So all I need to do to override that function is create a new function in my theme's functions file, which has the same name. So what I'm going to do is copy this function and edit it in my functions file. So here I am in my theme functions file. And I've simply copied that function there. Now what I want to do is change the way the function works only if we're on a single product page. So what I'm doing here is enclosing this in a conditional statement. Now the isProduct function is a template tag that's provided by WooCommerce to check if we're on a single product page. So if we are on a single product page, I want to use this code here, but I want to change it. So instead of it being get product thumbnail as it is, I want to include a parameter here which relates to the size of the image. So what it will do there is it will output the thumbnail image rather than the larger image as it's doing at the moment. And then if we're not on a single product page, I want it to just work as it normally does. So the normal function that would be output by default by WooCommerce is what goes in my else statement. So as you can see here, what I've got happening is that if we're on a single product page, we're outputting a product thumbnail at the thumbnail size, and if we're on any other page, we're outputting the normal size that WooCommerce defaults to. So I'll save my functions file and see how that looks. So here we are back on my single product page, and if I scroll down, there's some nice small images. Now you'll notice that there's some great big area of white space here, and that's because of the styling. So I need to change the styling of this element so that it is laid out correctly. So let's go back to the style sheet. So again, in my style sheet, I'm going to add some layout styling for those related products. Now what I need to do is find the relevant declarations in WooCommerce that are used for that. So let's go back to my page and inspect that. So let's take a look. Here we are. You can see, if I highlight that, how big that element is, and that it's taking up half the page. Now that's because it has a 48% width, which is great because it's responsive, it's fluid, but it's too wide for us at the moment. So what I'm going to do is copy the declaration that WooCommerce gives us here and add that into my style sheet. And I'm going to change that width to 25%. I'll add some returns so that I can see what's going on with my CSS here. And then when I've done that, I'll save it and I'll check my site again. So I save my style sheet and then I'll go back to my site. That's looking much better. I've got smaller images, they actually are smaller images, and they're being laid out correctly. So that's my products page with those changes that I've made. In the next part of this course, we'll move on to creating a search page with some custom content that you can use to help people find the products that they want. Thanks for watching and see you next time.